Hi and welcome, let's get that right. Welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. Budge and I are going to start off as usual with last one standing. Budge, a few went missing.
Oh, well, several. I felt for the guys on Brighton. 32 shots, converted penalty, and they went out, Paul. Very harsh, but
right. So with the guys who went through, Tottenham, West Ham, Liverpool and Man City. Brighton, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, Leeds, 2 gone. There's 40 left.
40 left, Paul.
And you're saying one guy has got 2, so it's very tight. Who's the guy with 2?
Boy from the south, the only guy with 2 entries.
He got beaten in the playoff last time, so he's consistent.
Hanging tough.
I always like the ladies' part. I've always been a ladies' man, Butch. 9 ladies remaining. Carol Whitehead, wonderful. I hope she's getting healthy. She's had a few hiccups.
Fighting hard.
Raquel Quintas, Toralyn Rushton from America, Ashley Berger, Georgia and Katrina Herito.
Yeah.
Montana and Neil Werners. The Werners are big influence at A.B. Lafferty. Tote favourite.
Your daughter better not win it, Paul. You'll never hear the end of it.
I'll never hear the end if my daughter wins it. You're right. International entrance there. This is very interesting. No woman here.
No.
Steve Bram, Stevie B. I can't believe it, Budge. I've got to pause there.
Paul, you never know. You never know.
His team's doing well. Sure.
Team's flying.
Denver for Mark.
Yeah.
Derek Ramsey all the way out of Wales. I can't believe it. Ashley Rushton out of Florida. Neil Horsman, London. Calvin Cass.
That's Tony's son in Scotland.
Scotland. 2 former winners. The postman still in. Lance Whiteford.
Yeah.
And Sean Phillips. Shorgan's always a contender. Yeah. Okay, entrance still standing. I'll run through a few of these. Alan Duplessis, Jason Fulks, Tay Statler, Johnny Arthur, I don't know his surname, Ramesh Badassi, Barry Humphries, Sean Cullen, Ryan Matthew. Ryan Matthew, do I know him?
No.
No. Joshua
Galliard, from Hollywood, yeah.
Craig Faree, Steve Laveau, Michelle Narek, the CEO. Now that's amazing. Him, Ramsey, and people like that. Dean Latimer is always a contender. Rion Diaga, Gary Citron without the E.
Yeah. Dave
Harker. And it's Michelle without the A in Narek, hey? Michelle without the A. Jared Werners, Phil Giorgio, Alan Costa, boy from the south, Paul Lafferty. Interesting boys left in.
Oh, Paul. This is the big week.
This is the big week for all of us. Okay, have we managed to get Stevie on the line?
Yep. Steve's hanging in, especially after Fulham got a result last night.
Was it last night?
Cock a hoop, another Mitrovic header.
Who'd they beat?
1-0 away from home, Middlesbrough. A great result.
Great result. Steve, are you about?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning,
it was a great result and a really dogged performance as well. Worthy of the champions.
Well, it's how many more points do you think you need?
Mathematically, we really need 5, but the truth is, if Nottingham Forest fail to beat Birmingham, we win on Sunday, we're up. So, we probably don't need more than 2 or 3 points maximum.
Yeah, I don't think you need a point.
Get the beers out.
No. Yeah, it's within touching distance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And you'll be back by the end of next week, Steve. I tell you who may not be back by the end of next week is Chelsea after last night's dismal performance. What did you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, those that 3-minute spell with the 2 Benzema headers. That killed the game as far as Chelsea concerned. They huffed and puffed and they created chances, but when you give away a 3rd goal like they did, it was shocking. And Tuchel looked shell-shocked in the post-match interview. As far as he's concerned, it's done and dusted. I can't see them coming back and winning by 2 or more in Madrid. I think that's beyond them, especially the way they're playing. They just seem to be, they're just a little bit disjointed. He doesn't know his best team, and you just think it's all falling apart for them at the moment. Yeah,
Romelu Lukaku had 2 chances to get him back in the game, and he must have been spewing on the bench. But anyway, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Steve, Man City.
I have to say, someone like.
Yes, Steve.
Yeah, that was a really good performance. Yeah, I thought City played well. Atletico Madrid. It was a hard watch. They basically came and put 10 men behind the ball. Yeah. They came to get a point. But I think City will go through because Madrid obviously now have to come at them. Yeah. And I think that will probably suit them better. If Atletico would sneak to win or something, then it would have been a hard watch again. But City deserved it. They probably could have done with a second just to give them that buffer. But I would be surprised if they went out now.
Yeah, just watching Atletico Madrid. He's the highest paid manager in the world. He earns 3-point-something million a month. Simeone. They were dismal. They never looked like trying until the last 20 minutes. Yeah, that's terrible. Steve, the other game, Liverpool, comfortable?
Yes, it was. Apart from a sort of a little wobble at the beginning of the second half, it was. And I think that third goal has just sort of won the tie for them. Benfica will have a go. When you look at their team, they've got a few decent players, but you've got players like Adil Taarabt, who were in the Premiership 10 years ago. Yeah. They haven't got the quality in depth to beat Liverpool. So, I think they'll go through comfortably and all set up for, we were thinking Bayern Munich, but, Villarreal possibly.
Yeah, Bayern were woeful last night. I don't know what's going on. The goalkeeper looks like he's past it now. They scored a goal. It was offside. It was inches offside. Yeah. But I tell you what, Bayern Munich, if I'd back them, I wouldn't be too confident. I don't see them beating Liverpool.
But bit of an aging squad.
Yeah, aging team. And Thomas Muller's still playing. Yeah. He played in South Africa 10 years ago. So you never know, but they're a big-time team, especially at home. Yeah. So you got to fancy them. Steve, there's two games, Europa League tonight. West Ham, Lyon.
Yeah, that'd be a good game. I mean, I think West Ham obviously definitely want to take a lead when they go back to Lyon. Yeah. Looks like Jared Bowen should be fit. And I think that makes a difference for them because obviously it takes the pressure off Mikel Antonio a little bit. I think if they play like they did against Seville, then I think that they should win. But, Lyon are a decent side. Got a good pedigree in Europe, so it won't be easy. I can see West Ham winning, but it might not be more than one.
Yeah, I watched Lyon beat Porto in Portugal, and they're a well-organised team. That way up front, Dembele is a danger. So you never know, but I'm hoping for West Ham. And the other game, Leicester PSV, that should be goals galore.
Yeah, that should be a very good game. Leicester got one or two injuries. We know that Vardy could be out for most of the rest of the season, but they've got the quality. If they put it together, Leicester, PSV are doing really well in the Dutch league. I think it will be a good game. And but again, Leicester will want to try and take a win over before they go to Eindhoven. And I think that they will, but again, it might just be by the one goal.
Yeah. Steve, just before we touch on the other games that are coming up, especially last night's relegation match, Jan went to go watch Sutton. She went out with Stephen Murphy and his wife to go and watch Sutton. Right. And Budge and I, we had the game on telly here, Steve, and can you believe Sutton were beaten in the 96th? Well, the equaliser, 96th. They were home and rubbed down.
Yeah, well, I think, unfortunately, look, Rotherham are obviously were favourites, but Sutton played really well. And, I think just psychologically, giving away that goal right at the end of normal time, and, they couldn't recover from that. And obviously Rotherham went on and got 2 more goals in extra time. But, they certainly were a credit to, to themselves and to the division. Now they've got to concentrate on promotion. Obviously, they've fallen back to 10th. They've got a game in hand, and it's very tight to get into those playoffs. And I think if they made the playoffs, I think it would be an amazing achievement in their first season ever in the league.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. Budge and I were watching the clock going down. I thought, well, they've got it. And then I saw them put up 7 minutes or something. I thought, oh, no. Yeah. And as I say, Jan was in there with the schoolmates and they're all cheering. It was a great day out. But unfortunately, as you say, they did themselves proud. But Rotherham would just lost the lead in the League One or something. All right.
Yeah.
Worst news, Budge. It's got to be Everton's scenario.
Oof.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it was a shocking defensive performance. I saw the highlights. To give away that third goal as they did. It was very interesting watching Sean Dyche being interviewed. And basically, he said to his team at half time, even though Everton were winning, he said, "Look, these guys haven't won away because they don't know how to win away." Yeah. And it gave Burnley the confidence. Everton had the chances. They hit the woodwork a couple of times in the second half. Yeah. But confidence is ebbing, and they've got a really tough next 4 games, and I can see that Burnley will leapfrog them within the next game or 2. Whether or not they can bounce, again psychologically, if Everton find themselves at the bottom 3, it could be tough for them. They've got a huge game. They still to play Watford But there's something not right there. You look at some of the players they've got. They've got some big name players, but defensively, they just seem a bit of a shambles at the moment.
Yeah. Well, mentioning shambles, there's two of them meet at lunchtime on Saturday. Everton and Man United. Steve, what's your call there?
Yeah. Well, look, you would have thought that United would be too strong. Everton have got to try and get something out of the game.
Yeah.
I can't see them winning Everton, but you could see them holding United, because you just don't know what you're going to get from United at the moment. And there is another case in point. You've got some world-class players, but putting them together, and then the whole is it seems to be less than the individual parts. But overnight, and we touch on it, the news is breaking that it looks like Eric Ten Hag is now favourite. So whether or not, but they're not going to announce it. They're not going to do anything for the next few weeks while Ajax are still going for the title. So there's still this uncertainty hanging over them. But I think they've got to get that sorted as soon as is practical and start rebuilding. Yeah.
So you're going for a draw in the United-Everton game. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you can see that. I can't somehow, unless Everton could just find some form that isn't there. But you don't know what you're going to get from United at the moment.
It's just a comedy show at the back like Everton, so it should be goals.
Yeah.
Steve, one team that's playing great, in my opinion, is Tottenham. I'm sure Paul will echo that.
Yeah.
How do you see them going at Villa Park against Aston Villa?
Yeah, I think it'll be a cracking game. If Tottenham play as they did in the second half against Newcastle, I think they'll get a result. Villa could hold them, but I think if Tottenham played like that, and the way that Harry Kane is playing, sitting in a slightly deeper position, the quality of his passing, finding play, 20, 30, 40-yard passes, finding Song. I think they'll go there and I'll get a result. And the way Arsenal played the other night, all of a sudden you think Tottenham look as if they could be favourites of fourth place, because Arsenal obviously capitulated at Palace the other day.
Yeah, that's true. Steve, big game in London on Sunday, Brentford versus West Ham. I smell an upset. What do you think?
Yeah, well, Brentford now must feel that they're pretty safe. Obviously, with that win at Chelsea, that's given them a huge amount of confidence. West Ham are playing their strongest side available tonight. Teams don't always do as well on the Sunday after a big Thursday game. I think at the very least Brentford would hold them. Might even win. A few weeks ago I wouldn't necessarily have said that, but I think Brentford would certainly hold West Ham. Because I think they can play with a little bit of confidence and without fear now, because they're pretty much safe.
True. Steve, big game obviously at the bottom is Norwich-Burnley.
This is a good game.
How do you see that?
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think again, Norwich are adrift at the moment. This is a game they might look at and think we've got to try target this, because if they don't, I think they're. Personally, I think they're down. For Burnley, they could look at this game and say, you know what? If Everton don't win against United and we win, we're out the bottom three for the first time in the season, pretty much. Yeah. I think Burnley will look to target this and get a result. I'll be very surprised if they slip up there.
Okay, and the big game on Sunday, Man City Liverpool. How do you see it?
Yeah. Well, it is a title decider, and in some respects, it's a shame it's not a few weeks down the line, because then it probably could be a title decider. I think whoever wins this will be favourites. You just think that I don't know. There's something about the way Liverpool are playing in the league that they just find ways to win now. Yeah. And you don't know what sort of teams he's going to put out, Pep. He's got so many players at his disposal, and he sort of swaps around. They're actually saying as well that Klopp might decide to rest one of Salah or Mane, because they just feel with the everything's been going on with the African nations and then the World Cup games, there's a bit of overload on them. So, and he's got Jota and Luiz he could bring in. So, I think it could be a tremendous game. I think it's going to be hard to call. I have a feeling Liverpool won't lose.
Okay, fair enough.
There's me thinks they could even go there and get a result, just because I think everyone's saying, City at home are too strong, but I don't know. It's as a neutral,
it could go either way, Steve. Two quality teams could go either way.
Likely.
Steve, on to the Championship. That's getting tight. Other than your Fulham boys, who should be up by end of next week. Bournemouth, bad result last night. They play Sheffield. They got beat 2-0 by West Brom. They play Sheffield United away. Another tough game for them.
I mean, I can see. Yeah, it is. I mean, Sheffield United need. You know, it's very tight in those playoff places. Sheffield United really need to win this. You know, to try and cement their place. And I think they can. I think at the very least it will be a draw. But I fancy Sheffield United, and I think Bournemouth have got some tough games coming up. And I think this is another tough game for them. And I've got a feeling that after the disappointment of losing last night, that Sheffield United could beat them.
Yeah, I agree. The Lancashire Derby, Blackburn, Blackpool. My boys Preston beat Blackpool in midweek. Apparently it was a cracker. Big crowd there. Blackburn get back to winning ways, or unlucky against Coventry last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to, because Blackburn have played more games than one or two around them. Yeah. And I think if they fail to win this, they will drop out of the playoff places. Blackpool were well beaten by Forest last week. You know, they'll want to bounce back. They don't lose many, but I think Blackburn, as you say, they were a minute away from winning last week, which was a good win at Coventry. I think Blackburn will just edge this, but it will be close.
Okay, a game I expect to be nice and tight. Reading, Cardiff. Reading, great result in midweek.
Very good result.
How do you see it going?
Well, Cardiff obviously had a shocker, losing at home to their local rival, Swansea, 4-0 last week. I think Reading, that was a big win for them. And I think, again, last week, getting that point at Barnsley, winning during the week, I think they're going to look at this fixture and think, if we win this, I think they'll pretty much be safe. So I fancy Reading to win this, and then you can see the bottom three will be adrift, and I think that it'll be too late for them.
All right, talking of the bottom three, Derby go to Swansea City. Another uphill task.
Yeah, I think very much so. Swansea just found a little bit of form, couple of big away wins this week. You know, obviously 4-0 at Cardiff, 1-0 at Millwall. Derby are running out of games, and I think Swansea will beat them, and I think that could almost be curtains for Derby. Yeah. They'll just be a little bit too far adrift, especially as the following week, Derby's next game is home to Fulham, and I really can't see them upsetting the apple cart there. So I think, despite their heroics, I think it's too late for Derby now.
Yeah, and last but not least, West Brom have also found a little bit of form at home to Stoke City.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Stoke won the other day against Sheffield United, although evidently they weren't the better side. Big win for West Brom last night. I mean, they got 2 early goals and basically sort of dug in and sat back. And Bournemouth had, I saw the stats, they had 17 shots on goal, none on target. Yeah. But I think West Brom are going to fancy their chances. You know, they're not out of it. I think they're probably just a few points adrift where they want to be. But I think that they could still have a bit of a say because they play 1 or 2 teams. So I fancy West Brom to win that.
Okie dokie. Steve, pressure time as always. Your best bet and value bet, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Swansea as my best bet.
Yeah,
I think that, again, they're too far adrift of a playoff place, but, they're a good footballing side. And value bet, probably a bit controversial, I'm going to go for Liverpool. I think 26 to 10 is good odds for a team that, with the quality they've got. So you never know.
All right, Steve, last but not least, last one standing. It's pressure time. This is the furthest you've gone. Don't forget your pick.
I think you're right. But after 5 years as the international pundit, I probably I should be thinking I can get to at least round 8, maybe. Last week I thought if I got to round 7, that would be fantastic. Yeah. And now I want to go further. So
why not? You're in for it.
Stevie, you've shortened in the betting. You're a pundit.
Look, my aim is to get. It's one day to get into the top 10. Then I'll feel that.
You're not far away. Not far
otherwise, you might not renew my contract next year.
Well, your Premiership next year, Steve. So
you're back.
But anyway, Steve, thanks as always for your help, and I'm looking forward to your pick.
All the best,
okay,
Steve.
All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Yep. Right, Budge. Premiership fixtures. Here we go.
Yep. Let's get the betting
We get them up on the board, and you can tell me on the betting. When they start Friday, Newcastle Wolves Hell of a game.
Should be, Paul. Newcastle have lost the last 3 in a row, but they were all away from home. They were woeful against your boys, especially in the second half. They got torn apart by, I think, a good team. Wolves are a funny team, Paul.
They can play.
They can play. They've won 3 and lost of the last 4. But the game they lost, we were on them against Leeds, 2 up. Jimenez gets sent off and they got beat. This is a close game, Paul. I just don't know what... Both teams to score, I think, will score. Of the 2 teams, I like Wolves, Paul. Okay. They're a good team. Yeah?
Good team. Everton, Man United. I'm Man United all day long. And what are they? 8 to 10. I think it's a good price. Everton are so bad at the back. Is Keane back yet?
Well, he got sent off, so
he missed last night.
I think he'll miss another one as well.
Yeah, I think
even if he plays, he's a bonus point.
They're not good enough there. They got the old right back's not there.
No, Holgate was woeful last night.
Holgate struggled.
No, they're all
they're all over the place, and they got too many players missing. Yeah. Allen didn't play last night.
He's suspended. So Paul, I just can't have Man. This is a game United should win. Lunchtime kickoff. But I just look at Man United and there's just no guidance. People are just like run of the mill.
It's a rudderless ship, but believe me, they've got so much.
Well, we should win.
Sure, you should, but Everton are going to raise it. Everton played well against Man City.
Yeah.
If they put in one of those performances,
they beat Arsenal at home. They beat
so
Newcastle.
This could worst scenario draw goals
for me. That's our play there.
Arsenal got to bounce back.
I think
Brighton must be licking their wounds for not.
Brighton, 7 games, they scored 1 goal. They must have had about 300 chances. Last week, over 30.
Who's up front for them? Roger Bull.
Danny Welbeck, and they got all these guys that play great, but they can't score. True side, and so, Paul, I think Arsenal rebound. Disgraceful performance, totally outfought. All this glamour boys playing for their national teams, they come back. Wake up call.
Wake up call.
So I think they'll rebound purely because they're playing Brighton.
Now Chelsea are in a situation where they can't afford to drop points. Just because there's a little bit of pressure coming in their 3rd spot. They got beaten the other night, last night. Can Southampton get something out of this game at home?
I think they'll score, but I doubt it. Paul, I listened to the manager Tuchel afterwards when he was getting interviewed about the Champions League. And the guy asked him, well, what do you think about next week? He went, next week, I'm worried about Southampton. If we don't get it right against Southampton, we may as well not turn up in Madrid.
Yeah, that's
Paul,
fair.
I think they'll win. They were 9 to 10 this morning.
He's got a good mindset, that guy.
I like him, Paul. I think he's top notch.
Watford Leeds will be a good game.
Paul, this is, Watford, like Burnley and like Everton, they've got to get a result. Leeds have tightened it up at the back, Paul. This could go either way for me. I think a draw's a big player because that Americans got them a little bit better organised at the back, Leeds. But,
that's right. They've tightened up there.
Watford will have to have a go, Paul, but a draw for me there.
Aston Villa have got it all to do, I think, on their current form.
Yeah.
They haven't looked that great. They've struggled lately, and Tottenham have scored goals against everybody.
Yeah.
Man City 3, you guys, everyone they play, they put goals
they score goals, Paul. The problem has always been the goalkeeper, in my opinion.
Yes.
But even Ben Davis is playing well. The top coach, Paul, he's got them.
The format.
They're organised. They train how they play.
Yeah.
And Paul, 12 to 10 is a good price. It's a tough game.
Because
Stevie Gerrard, it's a big game for him. I think they've lost 3 in a row. They were woeful against Aston Villa. So, and let's be honest, Paul, if you've got Ashley Young at left back, you wouldn't fancy it. Scored a great goal last week.
Song's got a turn. He's got a
Paul,
great goal.
I think there's goals in that game too, Paul. I think Aston Villa are always capable of Villa Park. The atmosphere will be electric. It's a late game. I like Spurs of the 2 teams, Paul. I don't see you getting beat, but I like goals in that particular clash.
Brentford thumped Chelsea. They've got to go into a bit cock-a-hoop. West Ham, big game in Europe.
Paul, that's my each way bet, 18 to 10. I think it's a great price. You have a look. They've got Ericsson. He's signing of the season, Paul. He could play in any team in the league, in my opinion.
And the short ball, he plays the long ball.
There's 2 big boys up front, so he can cruise around, and Guemo and the guys up front, Tony. Paul, only because West Ham are playing tonight in the Europa League. If Bowen's injured, he's not going to be. If he played tonight, they'll rest him. They get a good result, Paul. They'll rest him. They know it's going to be a hard game. I see 18 to 10, a great price, Paul. Brentford.
Leicester City, Crystal Palace.
Paul, Crystal Palace were great during the week. They don't get beat away from home too often.
Yeah, and they're good at home.
Paul, good team. For me, he's got to be in Manager of the Year contention. He'll never get it because he won't win anything, but maybe win the FA Cup. Leicester City, Paul, they played well against United.
They did. They went.
They're really playing well now. They've got the balance. Madison's playing great.
Yeah, they're back.
Paul, this is a tough game for me. I would go goals. It has to be. You know,
Okay,
Palace
draw.
score goals. Leicester always concede. They play tonight against PSV in the Europa Conference League.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to. Well, that's their main target this year.
Norwich Burnley be a humdinger.
Well, I like Burnley. You know, I watched the game last night. You know, you have a look at a man's team. You know, they stood up and were counted. They got 2 penalties against them. Even when Everton hit the bar on the post early in the second half, it didn't faze them.
Yeah.
You know, they just keep going. The conditions.
That centre half has a go, eh?
Oh, Tarkovsky. I think Ben Mee may be back, but Paul, I don't know if you saw, they had a corner in the second half. The corner flag was almost bent. It must have been like 90 degrees. You just could not believe the wind was howling. And the guy curled it. It blew about 6 yards to the left. You just couldn't believe the conditions.
You know the first goal they got last night, Budge? Shocking defending by Everton. He sort of hit it with the side of his leg into an empty net.
Terrible. But
Terrible.
That's how they've been.
They've got to sort out. They've got to get a... Let's go to the big one, Budge.
I like Liverpool.
I like Man City.
Yeah.
So this will be...
It's more than likely got a draw nailed on. They both won't want to
yeah.
get beat. But Liverpool can score. You know, Man City will control the midfield and try and keep it slow. But you give those City strikers a chance.
Foden.
Yeah, Foden,
Okay.
yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
Let's go to the championship. We went through the results, you
Yeah.
know, Reading, Stoke, all of them. Your boys Preston, let's just touch on
My
them.
boys,
Let's touch
1-0.
on
Great
Preston.
result. We beat local Derby, Blackpool.
Sheffield won again, eh?
Yeah.
Swansea won again. So, okay, so that looks good. Now, Wednesday's results, great win for Fulham at Middlesbrough. Not easy. Notts Forest, they're into 5th.
They're the trick horse, Paul.
They're the trick horse. Beat Coventry 2-0. Swerve will be happy.
Yeah.
And then West Brom are just starting to turn the screws. Who's
Paul,
that? Hughes?
That's, man, Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce, sorry.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, they're still comfortably in second.
Paul, it's getting tighter.
It's getting tough, but they're still comfortably in second. They've got to worry about it. But let's look at the games this week, Budge.
Yeah.
And we start on Saturday, the early game.
Lunchtime kickoff, Paul. I like Sheffield United. Paul, unbeaten in 11 at home. They've won 8 and drawn 3 of them. Paul, I like 13 to 10. Be a good game. I think there'll be goals. Bournemouth are woeful away from home.
They've got to go for it now.
Yeah,
they've got to go for it.
Paul, I think there'll be goals. This will be a cracker. I'll be watching this.
Blackburn,
Well, I like Blackburn. I could have cried for them last week. I turned over like 5 minutes injury time.
They were 2-1 up. Were you looking the wrong way?
You're right. I couldn't. Even the next day, I thought, how could they equalise?
I mean, you changed channels.
Changed channels, and they conceded a Coventry. I like Blackburn, Paul. 7 to 10. Brereton Diaz is back.
Bristol City 8 to 10.
Paul, this is only goals in this particular game. You can't trust Bristol City.
Yeah,
they always score. Peterborough are actually on in the worst of form. They're better away from home than at home. They drew with Luton, who were 4th at home, 1-1. Any results possible there, Paul?
Middlesbrough, Hull?
Paul, it should be Middlesbrough. They'd won 8 in a row at home until they got beat by 1-0 by Fulham last night. So I expect them to rebound. I watched Hull City against Huddersfield last week. They played well, but the centre forward got sent off, and then they were hanging on. But Middlesbrough, 6 to 10, good things.
Okay, on we go.
Next page, Millwall as well, Paul. They got beat at home, but Barnsley, they got to go for it, Paul. Millwall don't get beat too often at the Den. They got beat in midweek, first time in ages. 6 to 10 is short, Paul, but they should get a result.
Forest are starting to get momentum.
Paul, you know, I watched them in the FA Cup. They played well against Arsenal when they won 1-0, but everyone said how Arsenal rested their players. They murdered Leicester. And against Liverpool, they gave a good account to them, Paul. A lot of good young players. Steve Cooper's got them buzzing. They want to get, Paul, they're the danger to get second place above Bournemouth, in my opinion.
Sure.
It's a lot of way, but they've got points. They can catch up. I think they'll beat Birmingham.
Preston.
Our boys Preston. Paul, QPR have just fallen off the bus. Horsman's at every game. They can't win a game at Loftus Road. They've lost 5 or 6, lost 4 or 5 away from home. They've been really struggling, Paul. They looked a confident punt to get into the playoffs. I think my boys will roll them at Deepdale, Paul. 14 to 10. Good things.
Reading on a turn
Paul, I think Paul, they've got 2 great results, but Paul Ince is in charge. I think he'll try and park the bus.
Yeah.
You know, keep it tight, catch them. I think of all the games, Paul, I think this has got draw nailed onto. I think it was 23 to 10. That would be my play in that particular game. I don't see Reading getting beat, but Cardiff, they've only lost 1 game. That was at home to Swansea.
And that's why Swansea played Derby.
Paul,
time up.
You know, Derby beat Preston last week. They're going well, Swansea. Derby away from home have lost 7 on the spin. I think it was even money Swansea. So when the guys pull the slides up, I think it was 11 to 10, Paul. That should be absolute gift, yeah.
Okay, the West Brom have turned it around.
West Brom, Paul. I like West Brom. I was going to make them my best bet. But, you know, I couldn't make it before last night. So Chelsea will be 9-10 this morning, Paul. It was just under. So that's why I made Chelsea my best bet. But I think I like West Brom. Yeah, even money.
For Fulham at home, 5-10.
Should be, Paul. I think it was 12-10. Fulham to win over 2.5 goals. They're going for the glory now.
Mitrovic keeps scoring.
Just doesn't miss. So while they're in form,
and then Huddersfield, Luton.
Paul, this is a tough game. You know, Luton are 4th. Huddersfield, I think, are 3rd. So Monday night should be a good game. I think there'll be goals in this, Paul, purely because both teams have got to go for it. Yeah. And there's plenty of clubs behind them. Of the two teams, Paul, you know, I was impressed with what I saw from Huddersfield. But Luton, you never know, Paul. But I like goals in that particular clash.
Okay, here we go. But let's talk PSL now. Yeah, PSL, I'm just going to run through the results midweek, and if there's anyone you touch on, just touch on. SuperSport United 1, Chipper 1. Yeah. I watched the highlights of that. Yeah. Royal AM, they're up 2-0 on
yeah, they won, yeah. Maruma Gallants, yeah.
Amazulu won away.
They scored in injury time. It's amazing how often they've done that. Beat Baraka, yeah.
Sundowns, a good side, scored 4 away, but Swallows got 2, eh?
They got to 3-2 and they scored late, Sundowns.
So they're fighting hard because they're in trouble.
Dylan, yeah.
Kaiser Chiefs couldn't score against Galaxy.
Paul, they should have scored injury time. A guy had the post. They just, I don't know what's wrong with that team, Paul. It looks like Man United.
Sekukuna lost to Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates scored late too, last 10 minutes. It was a tight game.
Arrows lost to Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
2-0. And then Maritzburg, Cape Town City won again. Away from this time.
He's a good coach, Eric Tinkler, Paul. He'll be in charge of Bafana, I think, soon. I like him.
Okay. Nedbank Cup quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals. Not many big teams left. Okay. Paul, TTM is the old Bidvest Wits. Yeah. And they're now in the 1st division. They're struggling. They're 12th. Paul, SuperSport, they're always a cup team.
5-10.
5-10, Paul. It's hard to take 5-10 the cup semi-final, but I think SuperSport will do the job. Maruma Gallants, it's a local derby. You know, Baraka, they played a few weeks ago. Maruma Gallants beat them 3-0. You never know, cup games it gets a bit tense, but I don't see Maruma Gallants getting beat.
Summerfield, is that
Clinton Larson's team? That's our local boys. So we got a funk for them.
20-1.
Paul, they should
How
be
do they draw Sundowns for the money?
Don't know, Paul, but they've had a great run. They've got through the quarterfinal stage.
What a draw. How'd you get Sundowns?
Sundowns was at 18 wins, 2 draws in 20 games. That's including CAF. Hard to see them. Maybe they can score a goal, Paul, but
if they're lucky.
No, in the last game, Royal AM at Chatsworth, Paul, they've got another result. They don't lose in Chatsworth. University of Pretoria, going well in the 1st division. But 6-10 is a fair price.
All right, but let's go on to your soccer picks.
Yeah, we'll go on to the exotics first with the Gold Circle Soccer 6. Paul, I've got Man United win and draw at Everton. I'm bankering Arsenal to beat Brighton, Chelsea to beat Southampton. I'm going the field in the Watford Leeds, Aston Villa Tottenham match. And I've thrown the draw in with Real Madrid. Getafe is a local derby. Yeah. They beat them 1-0 in their corresponding game at home. So 2-1-6 for our Gold Circle Soccer 6. For Malala 1, I'm going Man United win and draw at Everton. I've gone Sheffield United win and draw at home against Bournemouth. Maruma Gallants to avoid defeat against Baraka FC. I'm bankering Chelsea to win at Southampton. I'm going Leeds to avoid defeat at Watford. And I don't see Tottenham Hotspur losing against Aston Villa. 2-1-6, sorry. On to our Soccer 10. I'm going the field in the Everton Man United game. I'm bankering Bayern Munich to beat Augsburg. Arsenal to beat Brighton, Chelsea to beat Southampton. I've gone Leeds United, win and draw at Watford. Onto the second page, I'm going Atletico Madrid to avoid defeat at Real Mallorca. I'm bankering Inter Milan to beat Hellas Verona. I'm going Villarreal, win and draw at home against Athletic Bilbao. I'm going the field in the Aston Villa Tottenham game, and Real Madrid, win and draw at home against Getafe.
Right, the big one.
88, yeah. Onto Soccer 13, I'm going Tottenham, win and draw at Aston Villa. I'm banking Arsenal to be too strong for Brighton, as well as Chelsea to win at Southampton. I'm going Leeds United, win and draw at Watford. I don't see Blackburn Rovers losing at home to Blackpool. I'm chancing Cardiff, win and draw at Reading. West Brom, win and draw at home against Stoke City. On to the second page, I'm going Preston, win and draw against Queen's Park Rangers. I'm bankering Bristol City to beat Peterborough, Millwall to beat Barnsley, Notts Forest to beat Birmingham, Swansea City to beat Derby County, and BK Häcken win and draw at Degerfors in the Swedish Allsvenskan 256.
Budgie's best bets. Here we go.
Paul, I'm going Arsenal to beat Brighton. I'm chancing Brentford to beat West Ham. And I'm going Wolves, Liverpool. It's handicap 1. It's basically a double chance, but the odds are better. So it's basically a win and draw Wolves and Liverpool. But because it's handicap 1, they get given a goal start.
Okay.
So if the goals, so 2,400 to 200.
Championship quad.
Championship quad, yeah, I'm going Middlesbrough to beat Hull City. Preston to beat QPR. I'm going Fulham to beat Coventry and over 2.5 goals. And over 2.5 goals in the Huddersfield Luton Town, 3,800 to 200.
Over 2.5.
Yeah. Over 2.5 goals and both teams to score, yes. Everton, Man United, Southampton, Chelsea and Leicester City, Crystal Palace. So all 6 teams must score and there must be over 2.5 goals. That was 10 to 1, so 2,000 to 200. Our team goal sides are Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham and Burnley, all to score over 1.5 goals. 3,400 to 200. Our championship, both teams to score sides are Blackburn, Blackpool, Bristol City, Peterborough, Swansea City, Derby, and Huddersfield, Luton Town, 2,300 to 200. And our Collis King, 6 or Nexa. I'm going Arsenal to beat Brighton, Chelsea to beat Southampton, Middlesbrough to beat Hull City, Fulham to beat Coventry City, Inter Milan to beat Hellas Verona, and Napoli to beat Fiorentina, 3,400 to 200.
Gee, that's excellent, Budge. It looks good. So it looks like a wonderful weekend's football again. And in the last one standing, we're down to 40. Make sure you get those bets into Budge on time.
Yep.
All set to go. Until next time, stay on side.